No, I haven't posted much lately. The past, give or take, month. I've been really busy with work. Just a current update of my stats. I'm doing better now. I've gotten my anger under control. For now. um, but it's been hard. I will say that. Been hard as heck, but here's the dealio. I'm a better person. I'm getting better. I'm finding out who I really am. The transition out has been harder than I expected because I have anger issues, I have stress issues, my anxiety that was brought on because of the Army. But one thing I want to address, and I've addressed this in the past, one of my videos that I did earlier this year or late last year, and I've been dealing with this with some of my friends of mine whose names I'm going to keep out of here because of just privacy issues. Don't be going out there doing stupid stuff like saying that you're going to commit suicide. Because I was talking to a friend who I've known for a while now, who got drunk and started talking about suicide. Now, he told a friend of mine, another friend of ours, about it, who then turned around and told me, after I confronted the one who had addressed it. And it scared me, like, real bad. And I'm not that type of person to get scared real easily. And I, quote unquote, out slightly chewed him out about it, because what y'all fail to realize is that I'm a double suicide survivor. I've lost 4 good friends in the last almost 2 years. 2 suicide, 2 overdose, 1 hung themselves. The other one jumped out of their room and broke their neck. It was on a 3rd floor, like a 3-4 story building. It hasn't been easy. I gotta deal with it, and I would highly suggest, and when I say I highly suggest, I'm talking from prior experience, because I know what suicide can do. It can kill a man. Because suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Suicide don't solve nothing. It really don't. It might solve problems for you alone, but you gotta realize, what is it going to do to the people that were related to you, your friends, your family, and just anybody else, people in the community, people who knew you, knows your family. And I highly recommend that you talk to somebody if you're dealing with shit. And excuse me for my parlaying of cussing, but I'm telling you right now, if you're dealing with some shit, please talk to somebody, because hiding that shit and bottling it up will cause more damage. Because you might think, oh, if I tell somebody, it's a sign of weakness, but I'm telling you right now, it is not a sign of weakness. It is actually a sign of strength. Mainly the reason I say that is because if you are willing to admit that you need help, that's a sign to that person that you're asking help from. That's a sign to them, like, oh snaps, this person is actually wanting help. they are trying to find the right resources. If you're willing to do that, that is the first step to fucking recovery. I'm telling you right now, it is the first step of recovery. I remember the second time that I was hospitalized when I was in the Army, I was in there for 2.5 freaking weeks. No, 2.5 to 3 weeks. Because I was so stubborn. I had put up what we call a defense barrier. I had put up an emotional wall around me. I wasn't allowing myself, I shut down. I wasn't allowing myself to experience life and experience healing. And the therapist that I was dealing with at the time, she was a DoD civilian, and I think she still is. She actually sat me down one day and told me, like, dude, you need to get out of this. My apologies. She was like, you need to get out of this barrier of seclusiveness because it's going to kill you. I'm like, she was like, look, if you're not willing to let us help you, you're just going to stay here longer. And I wound up staying there longer than I should have. And it was a good thing too because I was out of training. I was just waiting on my orders at the time. And I finally broke down and I actually was a little bit more open. Hold on a second. I was responsible for something. He just messaged me and never mind, he read it. But I finally healed. I was actually able to move on. I was going through a bad breakup at the time. I was going through some relationship issues. My ex at the time, he had decided to do some stupid shit. I found out about it. He denied it. I was like, dude, I got evidence. I got, certain evidence that shows that you were doing what you were not supposed to be doing. I'm like, don't even try to fucking lie and all this other bullshit. Give me 1 second. So, but the thing is that, what was I saying? God darn it, I lost my train of thought. But what I was saying is that I was actually able to move on after I recovered. My commander actually said, my company commander, my company first sergeant, they came in every day. After that, for the remaining time of my week, the remaining time that I had in there before I came home, was released from the hospital. And they actually sat down with me every single day for about an hour. They straight up talked to me, one-on-one, command team to junior enlisted soldier. I remember my first sergeant told me, I'll never forget what he told me. He's like, son, look, you need to be able to, if you keep on this healing process, you're going to see more and more success in your life. You're going to have more success in and out of the Army. If and when you do get out, you'll have success. If you're willing to get that freaking help that you freaking need, you'll be able to heal. You'll be able to grow as a person. But I'm telling you right now, if you know somebody that has suicidal tendencies in the past or is dealing with suicidal tendencies, talk to them. Get somebody to talk to, or send them my way, for crying out loud. I don't care. I have saved more lives than I can even count. The biggest case that I ever had was a few years ago. It was about a year and a half before I joined the Army. I met a guy. I could tell that he was emotionally down. He just had the face of like, I'm depressed as heck right now. I sat down with him. I was at a Starbucks at the time. I sat down, I asked him if I could do it. He said, yeah, sure. And I asked him, I was like, hey, what's going on, man? I could see something's wrong, and he opened up, which was actually surprising. And I found out he had gotten divorced. He was at a custody battle. He was on all the nasty bullshit with divorces. And For the next 6 months, I literally had to counsel the fuck out of this guy because he wanted to commit suicide. He did not. He had known this girl for, I can't even remember how long. He had known her for a while. They had been married. Their kids were in their early teens. They were younger than me. And you know, I wound up meeting his kids. They were great kids. And still are. I haven't talked to him in a while though. For 6 months, as I said, I counseled him for 6 months. I actually sat down with his ex-wife, his then ex-wife, sat down with her, talked to her on a one-on-one basis. I sat down with both of his kids. He had 2 kids. He had a daughter and a son. Smart kids. They were sweet, but seeing their parents being ripped apart because of a divorce crisis, it tore them up because they just had to see the trauma that their parents were going through. And I counseled both of them. I actually counseled the husband more than I did the mother, the ex-wife. And then he went offline. And for some reason, he disappeared. He did not talk to me for like 3 months straight. And what I found out later, and I finally wound up running into him one day at the store, and I was like, "Hey, dude, where have you been for the last, 3 months?" He was like, "Dude, I've actually been doing some soul searching." So I went down to the Bahama Islands. I then went to Hawaii for so I went down to the Bahamas for a month and a half, then I went to Hawaii for a month and a half. He was like, "I actually considered what you told me." And he said, "Me and my ex-wife are now getting remarried. We decided to not get divorced. We've gotten remarried. The kids are happy." And I was like, and to this day, he and I'll shoot back emails now and then. But that is just a story, a kind of a quick story of success. In my 21 years of being on this earth, I've actually lost one person that I was counseling. The other 3 people that I lost, I really didn't know that well. I knew them, but I didn't know that they were dealing with some dark shit at the time. I didn't find out until too late, and they were already dead by the time I found out. And I had to go to the funerals and everything, the memorial services that brigade was having at the time. Yeah. The first guy I lost, I was actually one of the pallbearers at his funeral. But yeah. But back to the point what I was talking about earlier. I'm doing better. I'm working at a restaurant now. Here in Cedar Park, Texas. Which is right outside of Killeen. About a 45 minutes out of Killeen, right next to Austin. Excuse me. I'm actually highly considering going back home to my hometown of Brim, Texas, where I spent 2 years of my life. But I eventually want to become like get a better job that's better paying eventually one of these days. But that's going to be another year or 2, maybe even more than that. But one of these days I'm going to move back home to my hometown, or my new hometown. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when right now, because I just don't know when I'm going to do it. I just got to figure out a good time to go home and stay home for the rest of my freaking life. Because I mean, besides the guys that I know from work and one of the Starbucks in Cedar Park, and the guys that I live with in Leander, and the encounters that I've had at Walmart or whatever, and I don't really know that many people here. I mean, when you're a new guy in a new community, and that in a community that is growing by the day, it's freaking ridiculous. It's hard. I'm gonna say that. That's the least I'm gonna say on that. It's hard. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them down in the comments. In the comments down below. Yeah.